Hello everybody and welcome back once more to the Shonen Showdown on Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Hot for Justice.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi New.
And I'm Envy Jitters.
And we're back once more where we got a new matchup today, but first we wanted to go over something with everybody real quick. So we know that I said before that we're going to have like 16 contenders in this, which means like 8 weeks of the first round of fighting and whatnot. We didn't want to say that we were going to, what the contenders were going to be coming forward, but we kind of have to mention one of them because we wanted to leave it up to you guys, sort of. So it's Shonen. No matter what, at some point we got to bring up Dragon Ball. So, but the thing is, we watched Hunter x Hunter already, but we watched the remake, the 2011 version, not the original version, because like it seemed to be that the majority of people were saying that that was the better version to go with. Sort of like how Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood tends to be regarded as better as Full Metal Alchemist. Now, there is a remastering of the original Dragon Ball Z, which, according to sources, is a little more closely adapted to the manga. That's called Dragon Ball Z Kai, if you weren't aware of what I'm talking about already. So we wanted to leave it up to you guys, because that's one of those ones where it's like, I've heard from some people that it's better, and I've heard from some people that it is definitely not. So we wanted to leave it up to you guys. We're going to have a poll on the community tab as to whether the contender for the Dragon Ball series will be the more manga-accurate Dragon Ball Z Kai, or the classic original Dragon Ball Z. Either way, we're going to be watching one of them, and we're probably going to have a blast doing it one way or the other. So, yeah, let us know in regard to that on the community tab. I'm going to put, that poll is going to come out the same day as this video, so let us know, and we'll go with whatever you guys decide on. We will not tell you what it's going to be facing, but you'll be able to help us decide which one will be the contender for that franchise. But regardless of that, because that one's not coming up this week or next week, what are we doing this week? Last week, what happened? Jujutsu Kaisen took down Hunter x Hunter, I believe, and then we had to move on to our next matchup, which was Blue Exorcist versus My Hero Academia. So,
Yep.
Yeah, so this is yet another week where I am coming in with zero anything on either of these shows. Who came in with biases this week?
I think almost all of us have a bias of some sort.
So just me is the impartial one.
I'm just going to say this right now, right off the bat. My Hero Academia is one of my favorites. It's in my top 10. I'm going to be as impartial as possible and only judge it on the first 3 episodes only, because that's what we're supposed to watch.
Well, hey, we appreciate that, Envy. Thank you for that. You're a man of integrity. Never let it not be said.
Yeah.
So what were we saying? Like, anyone else coming in with, like, clear favorites to begin? Well, maybe we shouldn't say that. I don't know.
Should we?
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen and like both.
Well, that almost makes you impartial.
So I'm a little impartial overall, but I guess I'm a bigger fan of My Hero Academia, if we're talking about that. I don't know.
Okay.
I've definitely read the manga for that one, and I haven't for Blue Exorcist, so I'm not as familiar with what happens later.
Okay.
So I was unfamiliar with Blue Exorcist going into this, and then I'd seen a few episodes of BNHA prior to this, the first time around, and I admit I was underwhelmed. This time around, my feelings aren't the same, but we'll see how that pans out.
Okay. Gav, I feel like you're the only one who hasn't spoken up yet.
So I've watched both before, not all the way through though. And I've read more of My Hero Academia than I have seen it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I've seen both. So,
well, all right. Well, why don't we just get right into it? We're starting off with Blue Exorcist, I believe. Now, what happened in Blue Exorcist? So, a bunch of guys were chanting, and then they caught fire for some reason. And then we follow a kid named Rin, who's a dick. Well, maybe he's not a dick. He's just very yelly and doesn't want to go to high school, but wants to get a job, but also doesn't want to do anything. And he gets a job at a grocery store, and he's super strong. But he sees a little girl getting bullied by a goblin monkey, invisible goblin monkey thing. Also, his dad is a priest, and his brother is the golden child. And let's see here. So he tries chasing around the goblin monkey, ends up the goblin monkey and the little girl, they kind of make a big mess in the store, so he loses his job, which he just got. And he goes home, and everyone's kind of like, Rin, come on, why can't you be like your brother? Why can't you, like, hold down a stable job and all that sort of stuff? Or why can't you be just, like, good at anything? And then he gets into a fight with some other people who get possessed by demons. And then he unleashes demon power as well, because apparently he's the son of Satan, because that's what we're going with here today. His dad is not his dad, but is also still a priest and is gonna, like, try to hide him away from his devil papa. And then he dies by being possessed by Satan. And Rin unlocks his blue flame powers when he opens up a sword that holds all his powers, and he does things. He attacks not Satan, but another guy who's also from hell. Astaroth? Something like that? Astaphael? It's a biblical-y name. But he's a big goat-headed man, and he kills him, and then he gets approached by Sam Riegel and in a top hat, and he's like, hey, come to my not Hogwarts, but, like, you know what I'm talking about, a school where I'm going to teach you how to kill demons and shit, despite the fact that more than likely I myself am a demon.
Yeah. Looking at them ears.
Looking at them teeth. Looking at them everything.
That too.
That whole aesthetic.
He is not subtle.
Yeah, his name is, his name at school is
Faust.
Dr. Faust or something, but his name is also
Yes.
Mephistopheles, and I'm like, well
it's
shit.
Mr. Feliz, I
Mr.
think.
Feliz. What's his name? Mephisto?
Yeah, I think something.
Mephisto.
We
yeah.
know what this guy is right off the bat. So whenever they do the whole little, oh my god, you were a demon the whole time, no one's going to be surprised at all. Anywho, he goes to school. It turns out his brother's a teacher. His brother hates him because he always knew that he was the spawn of the devil. And, but then they, they beat up a hobgoblin or something, and they kind of just, like, bro hug it out or something. I don't know.
Did they?
Yeah, they didn't bro hug it out, but you know what? They had that bro moment where it's just like, bro, we got our differences, bro, but I respect you, bro. I respect you too, bro. All right, let's do this. And so now they're roommates. And that's it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Also, you're allowed to have guns at the school.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Might be a bad decision. But yeah. Anyway, that's the bad description of the plot. Let's talk more in depth about the actual plot of this show. So, am I leading off again? I think that's usually how we start.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this plot was all right. They established some stuff. They got the ball rolling. Got us a general what's the goal? Kick Satan's ass. I can get behind that. I feel like both a lot happened and a lot didn't happen. It's like a weird feeling for me. I'm trying to. I mean, we certainly saw people being possessed by demons. There was some fighting going on. There was some emotional moments with the dad and the brother and all that other sort of stuff and that kind of stuff. I think overall I'm a yay on this because it feels like it's getting started and going somewhere. And I give it a yay for plot. Gav, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I don't remember a whole lot of what happens after this because I did watch more than like the first 3 episodes whenever I originally watched it.
Well, ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was like 18 and I can barely remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. Joke's on you, I don't eat breakfast. But anyway, so I was like, it was like all new to me again, basically. And I don't know, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. Like, I think that it was kind of like you said, Al, where a lot happened and then didn't happen at the same time. Because he doesn't like get to the school until the third episode. So you're like, okay, like, all right, this is where things pick up, and now we're not watching anymore. But from what
That
we
seems to
have
be how it's
seen,
going for a lot of these shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I did see, I did like the plot, so I'd give it a yay.
Cool.
Yeah, I would agree that I liked the plot overall. I agree with what you guys said, and I also watched it like back when I was a teenager years ago. I remember a lot of the plot, but it was still a long time ago, so it was kind of fresh for me as well. And I felt like the show, for me, the plot was definitely at its best with when it was focusing on the family stuff and when it was focusing on the demon stuff. I got kind of bored sometimes when he was just going around looking for a job or whatever. But I feel like once it got past that, it picked up a lot. And I really do like the scene in the church. I thought that was a really strong scene with the devil and them trying to get Rin out of there. I liked the stuff at the school, at least a little bit that we saw of it. And I think I would be interested in seeing I mean, I know what happens next, but if I was a new watcher, I'd also be interested in seeing what happens next. So I think overall it was a pretty strong plot, although kind of standard, but I think it did it well. So I liked it. It's a yay.
Okay, so these were like a strong 3 first episodes. A lot going on within these first 3, because we got our main antagonist established. There were a lot of really like emotional like character moments in episode 2, and then in episode 3 we get some more like character moments with Rin and Yukio, his brother. And I don't know, the plot to me is just interesting. Again, it's like it's leaning into my paranormal tastes, so I was really interested in that. And honestly, like, I kind of want to see where this one goes. It at least had my interest for that much, so I'm gonna give it a yay.
Yeah, for me, honestly, it was a high yay for me. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen Blue Exorcist. I never read it or watched it when I was growing up, and I gotta be honest, these 3 episodes hooked me right out of the gate. Like, I don't know what the rest of the series is like. I heard some mixed opinions about it, but for these first 3 episodes, I couldn't think of a better start to them. Yeah, I think the first episode was a little tedious at times with like the job stuff, but like once they got to like his reveal that he's part demon, like episode 2 just floored me. I loved the action sequence in the church, and I loved the dynamic between him and his his foster dad, and the whole dynamic in episode 3 I thought was really engaging. So yeah, it's to the point now where I'm actively gonna watch the whole series now because it's only 25 episodes, at least for the first season. So it's a high yay for me.
They just got another season recently, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there's a funny thing about that when I was doing research on that, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we can do that after.
Real funny thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, no matter what, I feel like we're going to have some people gushing at the end of this, so we can save it all for that, I guess. So it looks like an overall yay for the plot by everyone. Gav, you want to take us into character stuff?
Sure. Okay, let me try to remember their names. Okay, well, there's Rin, and he's good. He's like, how do I put this? I mean, we already kind of described him, that he's like very loud and kind of like angry, like an angry dude, and all he wants to do.
You know what that just makes him sound like?
What?
That just makes him sound like Edward Elric.
Yeah, I
Kind
guess
of.
so.
Is Edward Elric just an angry dude?
I mean, all he does is yell. That's the only thing I can really think of. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
What is
That's
this
just me as someone who hasn't watched FMA. But I don't... It's not hate. It's just he's always... Every single time I see an image of him, he's yelling.
Ed is good.
But yeah, he's you know, gonna be... I don't even know if we mentioned this, but like the fact that he chose to like, I guess, even after like, because at first his foster dad or whatever, was like
Father.
Yeah, his father was like, he was kind of angry at him for like not being honest about him being Satan's son, and so he said some like pretty nasty stuff to him, but then afterwards he was like, no, but you're still my dad. And then when he dies, he's all like, oh, now I want to be an exorcist like him because I want to like basically save people. I don't want to like the same thing to happen to anyone else, you know, like that. And I thought that was like good. I was like, good character, like, you know, right there. I think that's like, you know, like passionate characters who like have a goal and like stuff like that are good, because he didn't really have like a goal before. He was just kind of like going with the flow and stuff, like just trying to get a job because like he knew he needed to do something. But yeah, when he makes that decision, I was like, okay, yeah, like I can get behind this character. Yukio, his golden child brother, is pretty like kick-ass. At first I thought he was kind of a prick. But then when he pulls out his gun and starts shooting at all those demons, I was like, okay, I see you, Yukio. Like, you got some skill, and you're very smart, and you're kind of like more of a brat than I thought you. Like I said, he was like kind of a prick, but I mean like, it was more so like that he didn't talk and like he seemed like stuck up, and then he still is a little bit stuck up from like what I've seen of him, but in like a different way, like in an almost kind of like playful bratty way. Like, so I was like, okay, all right, that's like not a bad character. Father is dead. But he was good when he was around. So
Wow.
yeah,
R.I.P.
and yeah, rip. And I guess like I like the side characters who like names you don't really learn that are like also part of like, you know, this Exorcist group.
The Altar Boys.
Yeah, the Altar Boys. They were cool. They're hip. They're with it.
I would not call them altar boys because they are quite clearly wearing the priest's collar.
Yeah, but they're not top
Jesus.
priests. That makes them altar boys.
Maybe they're deacons. Maybe they're deacons.
Are they Catholic?
I
or
would
what is
say
the
probably
denomination?
leaning more toward deacons. The thing is
I
they
don't know.
never specify whether or not
Yeah.
this is a Catholic thing. Even though the thing
Altar
with
boys,
exorcisms is, and this is a thing with the Catholic Church, only priests can be
Maybe they're
exorcists,
vicars, like
so.
maybe they're parochial vicars or whatever they're called.
Who knows?
You have to be a priest to be a parochial vicar, though, don't
Well,
you?
I guess.
I don't know. I'm not a priest. Don't know the hierarchy.
I mean, it's called the Southern Cross Boys Monastery.
Ah.
That's just the name of the monastery, though.
Home to several priests.
So they are also priests.
But it's
Oh,
also
yeah.
Rin's
okay,
home.
so-
He's not a priest.
Huh?
I'm being a dick.
Oh, yeah. No.
So,
Okay, everyone's a priest.
I mean, the
Except for
Vatican
Rin.
exists in this world, so there is that.
They're
So I'm
probably
assuming that these are Catholic priests.
You know who could
So-
fix their problems really fast? Like this whole devil kid and bunch of demons running around? Alexander Anderson. He could fix this up in a jiffy, I bet.
Okay.
No one a Hellsing fan here? Fine. All right, whatever.
We're not talking about Hellsing right now. We're talking about Blue Exorcist.
We could talk about Dororo. Not again.
Not again.
Not another week. Not another week.
Not again.
Took up too
But
much time
anyway.
last time.
They were, yeah, and I guess, Mephisto is, I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'm pretty sure.
He
Yeah.
sounds like a guy who's going to have 8 names
Yeah.
by the end of this.
Yeah, Mephisto, is his name. He is, I think he's pretty funny in, like, a weird kind of way. I just like his aesthetic, okay?
We know, you're into
but-
clowns,
Fair.
magicians, dudes with top hats, basically stage performers, I think is your deal, right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
You have a
Um,
trip in Vegas.
But anyway, he's like pretty interesting because he's like, oh, his first proposition to like Rin was that like, well, we could kill you because you are Satan's son.
It's like 2 weeks in a
or-
row we've run into that. First
Yeah.
off, let's kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, let's kill you, or you can commit suicide, or some other option.
You can
But it
run away and
definitely-
we can chase after you.
Yeah, basically. But he was like not expecting Rin to be the one to say, "Let me go to your school and be an exorcist." But then he was like, "Okay, yeah, like that's pretty entertaining. I'll let you do it." And I think that was interesting. Also, the fact that the dude's like, let's be real, a demon here. Like,
Yeah,
look
he's
at him.
absolutely a demon.
Look
Yeah, absolutely.
at him.
If he is not a demon, that would be more shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think he's an interesting character. And yeah, so characters, I'd give it a yay.
Cool. Ian?
Yeah, I'd put a yay too for characters. I agree with what Gav said for the most part. And I think the characters' interactions with each other are one of the strong points to me. Like, I really like Rin and Yukio's relationship, and I think it's interesting to see how that will go. Like, I almost think that their relationship together is just as interesting as the plot itself, like in terms of what's going to happen and how they'll develop that. And I really liked his relationship with the dad too, or the dad person. Father figure, yeah. I liked that as well. I think the interactions between the characters really bring out their personality, so I liked how they did that. And I like the characters individually too. I agree with what Gav said, so I would give it a yay for characters as well.
Chibi?
Yeah, I'm also a yay on the characters. I pretty much agree with everything that was said. But I will say, and I did just look this up right now, parochial vicar is definitely a priest. So I'm assuming that those other 4 guys are like priests, or they are priests in training. But
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know that it matters if they're ever gonna show up again.
no, they're probably not.
They're like Yuji's classmates.
Yeah.
Never
Gone
gonna be seen
forever.
again.
Very true. Nope.
Good to get to know you for an episode.
But yeah, I would say I'm like a light yay to a yay on the characters, so
Okay. Envy?
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Ren because, he's a typical, bad boy. I don't care about the world, and especially with his voice, but we'll get to that next round. But
No, that's
overall,
a later round.
I did come around to him a lot. Especially, once it's revealed, his backstory and his interaction with the father. And I thought the father was really cool. And I kind of saw the twist with Yukio coming. Like, I kind of figured, like, what they were saying, oh, who's going to be his teacher and the whatever arts they're learning. It's like, it's going to be Yukio, and sure enough, it's his younger twin brother. But I still liked that dynamic, especially the conversation / fight they had. I thought that was pretty well handled, considering, the strain that was probably going on with both of them for years. So overall, I liked all the characters, although I do have to admit, I kind of question why they gave the father a pervy joke, like in the very first time we see him, and yet they never bring that up again at all.
I mean,
I just,
I don't know that he was there long enough to become the pervy priest.
I guess. But, like, that was literally the only pervy joke that they did for him. It's like, what was the point? Like, but overall, I'm still a yay.
Maybe they're saving them for later.
He'll come back as a ghost just to make a pervy joke.
Oh my god. I wouldn't, you know what? Honestly, we're already opening ourselves up to the ideas of the supernatural, the dead, and the zombies and a whole bunch of other stuff, demons and that kind of thing. It's not the craziest thing to think that he could come back as a ghost. But
No.
yeah. When I first started watching this, I was not a fan of Rin. But he got better. He got better, especially as we start to learn more about him. I think my favorite was probably Father, but then they killed him. So it kind of dropped me back down to a bit of a meh. But then, I didn't really have one way or the other with Yukio for the first 2 episodes. But then, that third episode, that kind of brought it back up. I'm a soft yay on this. I think I'm not saying much different from what a lot of you guys were saying, except I didn't like Rin that much to begin with. But overall, I think my favorite character at this point is probably Mr. Demon running the school, because he's allowed to do that. I'm still like, that's the one question that's fascinating me, is like, how did they let the demon get in charge of the demon killing school? I'm not saying he wouldn't be a good teacher for it, but why?
Maybe
would
they don't know
trust
he's
him
a
with
demon.
that? How can you not?
Yeah.
How can you not?
Maybe he uses a glamour that humans can't see through. Who knows?
The dude turns into cats. He looks like he's a crossroads
He
dealing.
turned into a dog.
Oh, he was a dog. Yeah. What kind of dog was
He's
that?
a
Some kind of
schnauzer.
Schnauzer.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
like a
Yeah.
tiny dog.
Yeah, he's a talking schnauzer, top hat wearing, vampire fanged, elf eared, demon looking motherfucker.
With an umbrella.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's a specifically demon thing. His name is also Faust and Mephisto and Stopheles. How
Was it
much
Faust?
more? Faust was the doctor.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, they said they call me Mr. Faust here as one of the teachers.
Yeah, that's his
and
human
then he
name.
said his other names. His other name is Mephisto Feliz.
Oh. Yeah, that's a very obvious.
So
human
fucking
name,
subtle,
too.
dude. So either everyone's stupid, or there is a story about how this guy's a traitor demon who is, like, down to kill other demons. Which I'm like, sure, why not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at Star Wars and the prequel trilogy. None of the Jedi could tell that Palpatine was the Sith Lord, even though it was so freaking obvious that he was the Sith Lord.
I don't know that it was obvious to us, the audience who were seeing him do his dark shady shit. He never did anything shady in front of anyone other than the people he was manipulating occasionally.
Yeah.
Really, he didn't even do it then.
His looks
I was
did
gonna say
start
he played
deteriorating,
his
though.
cards
His looks deteriorated
very
after he
close to the text.
after he actually got lightninged in the face after he got caught.
Yeah, I guess that was after.
Yeah. No, Palpatine, if you want a good, like, bait and switch, Palpatine would have been, had we not already known going in that he was going to be the bad guy. I think. Also, he might be one of the best parts of that.
We had a good
Yeah.
we had a good dose of dramatic irony going into those movies. So
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm an overall soft yay on this. I could see potential for this getting a little better and more character interactions. And apparently there's other characters in this class, so, they have to do something, right? Also, there was a cat in the opening. That has to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it's an overall yay for characters. Yin, you want to lead us off into world building?
World building. I liked it overall. I think it's easy enough because we're in the same position as Rin, where we're just learning all of these things. He is not familiar with the world, and we're not familiar with the world, so whenever they have to explain something, it feels natural, and I think that's a good thing, as we've talked about before with a lot of these kind of shows. It's good that they don't have to do the exposition in a weird way. It feels kind of like how it would be if you were in Rin's position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall the lore is interesting. It's mostly like based on Christian ideology and mythology and things like that. So I thought they did a good job so far of working with the demons, and him being the son of the devil, it's not like the most original type of thing, but I think it works. I mean, it's a pretty classic story. So I think that it could easily go in an interesting direction. So I would say overall, the world building is pretty solid, and I think that they really portray certain things well through, well, I guess, I don't know if this is more animation, but I was gonna say through, like, the way the school looks and just, like, the visuals of everything, I think works really well for the world building and portraying something and, like, the mood of it without us having to, like, know too much. So I would give it a yay overall for the world building.
All right. Chibi?
So because I'm literally went into this blind, well, I'm a light yay on this, but I'm still a little confused. Mostly, like, I get the mythos part, you know, from, like, Christian and Catholic mythology and demonology and things like that. My whole thing is like, I'm assuming that Satan is just the devil, and we're not going off of the he's also an angel logic if we're thinking that Satan is also Lucifer here. Mostly just because that would make Rin a Nephilim, and that's just opening a whole other can of worms. So I'm not gonna touch that at this point. So
Could always touch it
like,
later.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but that just really complicates things, if we're gonna be very honest. But, so I think, like, if we're just sticking with that Satan is the devil and we're not, like, considering the angel factor, like, I think that's pretty good for world building. So, also just, like, the school is an interesting place because it's, like, you can sort of, like, apprentice and learn to do almost anything there, especially because it's such a sprawling place. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. It's like a sprawling college campus on an island, if that makes any sense.
Is it on an island?
It's kind of on an island
mean,
somewhat. I think they had to cross a bridge.
It's in the middle of a
right?
water, and you need to get to it from a bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
So, there was that. I mean, yeah, I'm, like, slightly still confused because I'm trying to parse out where exactly this is going, but I'm like a light yay on this for right now.
Alright. Envy?
Envy?
My thoughts are pretty much exactly the same as Yen's. The only thing I'll add is that I feel so bad for Yukio. Can you imagine you're like a 7-year-old or even younger and you start seeing freaking demons out of freaking nowhere? Like, holy shit. I can only imagine just how traumatizing that is. But yeah. Mine's pretty much the same opinions as Yen, so I won't go too much further. Yeah, it's a yay for me.
Alright. Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement a little bit more with Chibi on this myself. I'm a soft yay on it because I think they did do some good world building and they were able to get out the lore and exposition in a decent way without having to do unreasonable info dumping. And I do like that the school is kind of like a Death City kind of deal a little bit. Like the school is a town, but is like kind of stacked on top of itself. It has a very good aesthetic, but you know that kind of does lead into animation a little bit. But
it's sort of both in a way.
A little bit, yeah. There's yeah. I'm just a little concerned. Like I don't really know exactly how closely to Christian mythos they're going, or like because like there's plenty of animes which have used Christian iconography and Christian mythology as backdrops for lore and stuff, but to them it's often been a little bit more of an aesthetic thing as opposed to like we're actually going to delve into it or really work with what's there. They kind of just like, here, we know the basics and we'll just do our own thing. I kind of have the same problem with a number of different mythologies. Like I've told you about my problems with like the Wonder Woman mythology in the Wonder Woman movie, because like it's just the fall of Lucifer, but you replaced Ares with Satan and Ares. That's irrelevant to this. But yeah, I'm overall a yay, but I'm a little pensive because like they're also coming up with different names and words for Earth and the dark side and all sorts of other, like the world's a flip mirror and demons live on the other side. I thought they were from hell. I don't. Yeah,
that was a little confusing.
it's a little confusing, but overall decent. So,
I think
soft yay from me.
I think there are it's just because in some interpretations that, like, instead of hell being like an actual place, it's another dimension. That's just a thing that some people speculate.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen other things where they pretty much it's heaven and hell, but they don't call it heaven and hell. They call it different things. So I that didn't mind me as much, bother me as much.
Gav?
Honestly, I get a little bit confused by, like, the whole, like, Azia thing, and, like, I guess, like, I guess hell, I guess it's, what did they call the,
I forgot too.
Yeah, like,
It's Earth and Hell.
Gehenna.
Yeah.
They called it Gehenna Gate.
Like, yeah, the Gehenna Gate, and then Azia, which is, like, I guess the human world. As a little confused by it, like, at first, but I'm sure that, like, once they start getting into it more, like, I'm sure it'll be less confusing. But, yeah.
Well, I mean, they refer... Go on.
Oh, I was waiting for you to say something.
Oh, no. Gehenna is just, like, a word that they refer to in the Bible. I believe Gehenna is just basically another name for hell that they refer to.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
It's in the Hebrew Bible. It's apparently the seventh hell.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's circles. All right.
Yeah.
Which sin does that one go to?
Well, the thing is like there were like seven gates to get in. So
okay,
but
that helps.
I mean, I think the more you know probably about, like, hell and stuff, the easier it would probably be to understand, but also maybe the more irritating.
Yeah.
So as with, like, everything, so I don't know, but I do like everything else. Like, I do like the Academy, like True Cross Academy is very, like, cool. And I do like how it seems like the Exorcist, like, school is, like, separated from, like, the rest of, like, the high school, because you have to, like, go in through, like, a secret door, like, with a key to, like, get there and stuff.
It's like a magic TARDIS key or something.
Yeah,
it's something like that. But
well, it absolutely is that, because, like, that door he went through, there was, like, that door should open to a place that was maybe 2 feet from the ceiling from the top of the door, and then it's a giant hallway
it was
with
an
with
interdimensional thing.
huge vaulted ceilings. I'm like, you can't that's not how architecture works.
It's magic.
It's magic.
But I really enjoyed that. So like, yeah, besides for, like, the, like, Azia and, like, Gehenna stuff being a little bit confusing, I'd, like, give it a yay.
Cool. Is that everyone?
Yeah.
Looks like it's an overall yay for world building then. Who's leading us into art and animation? Is that you, Chibi? Alrighty.
Yep, that me. Okay. So the art and animation, I'm gonna give this, like, a light yay. I thought the animation was good. I thought, like, as far as style-wise is concerned, like, it all flowed pretty well. The only thing that seemed a little bit off was Mephisto, and, I mean, I kind of expected that. Yeah, no, he's supposed to be sort of off-putting in this world of that's just kind of like very drab with not a lot of color. Um, again, and this was more with the school, I feel like that sort of design was like just real interesting to look at. It looks very pretty. It's almost kind of like I'm looking at, oh god, what was it called? I want to say I'm like looking at like a Spirited Away sort of like setting,
Like Howl's
just
Moving
looking
Castle.
at it. Yeah, like it reminds me of Ghibli. Just looking at it. As far as like with the 3D animation that they were going for, I'm gonna give it a little bit of leeway because this was 2011. So it wasn't 100% perfect. Because I was like kind of a little off put with it, just a tiny bit. But overall, I'm gonna give it like a light yay.
All right.
I'll be completely honest. I watched this a couple days ago. I completely forgot there was 3D animation in it. To tell you the truth, what parts was it 3D in?
It was the demons, right?
The demons were partially like 3D animated.
Oh, I couldn't tell. Damn. I guess that's kind of a good thing. If I can't tell, it's not CG.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I am in agreement. I do like the art style. I like the designs of the demons. I like the design of the school. I did get kind of a Howl's Moving Castle vibe. But I also got that I think it's called Hojin Academy from Kill la Kill, where like everything was on like that hill kind of. I kind of got that vibe from it too.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
And yeah, the character designs were all cool. I mean, obviously Mephisto is dashing, to put it lightly. So yeah, I'll give it a yay.
Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot to add to that. Pretty good, pretty smooth. Fight scenes were good. I think whenever they got to I didn't really mention this in the world building, like the different styles of exorcism that they're apparently going to have seems interesting. And I did, in regard to the animation, it was a fun fight to see how different people were using, like they used a scarecrow to fight demons. I don't know if that's the most efficient way to do it, but hey, points for style. Mephisto is very stylish. He should be. He's a demon. But yeah, no, I think overall, yeah. Gav?
I'd give it a yay overall. I like Envy couldn't even tell with the CG, to be honest. So it must have not been like, I don't know if that's a good thing or like a bad thing.
It's always a good thing. If you can't tell that something is a certain way, yeah, like that's always like the thing. Like anytime I took an editing class, they were like, if you do a good job, no one will notice. If they notice, you're doing a bad job.
Okay. Well, then I guess like I didn't notice, and but yeah, I really liked it. I don't really have much to say on it. To be honest, like I'm drawing a blank, but yeah. I'd give it a yay.
Yeah, I would give it a yay too, like a light to middling yay. I noticed some of the CGI thing that Chibi was talking about as well, especially like when his dad, I think, was being consumed or something. There was some weird CGI there. But I think the demons
with the bubbling.
Yes, that's exactly what I pointed at.
Yeah,
with the door
and the little floaty cat things. Though that's what I was talking about. Those you can very clearly see are 3D animated.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly the door. I didn't mind the little floaty things as much, but the door was weird. However, I could kind of overlook that because it was a long time ago, and the rest looked good. I liked the designs of the demons, and overall, I think they looked good. And I like the designs of the backgrounds and everything, like everybody else said. The school looks great. And I want to say, like, the interior of the school was really cool, too. Like, I really liked the colors that they used, like in that hallway right before he got into class. I mean, things like that really stuck out to me. Like, it really looked magical, which I appreciate about it. Like, it looks like he's going into a very different world than what we saw in the city in the first episode. So there's like a great contrast. And I think that's kind of how it is with Mephisto as well. Like, he's part of that contrast. So I think the contrast between the real world and the magical world is really cool. But even the regular people have good designs, you know, like Rin and Yukio are twins, but they also look distinct. I don't know. I think all the designs were really good. I'd give it a yay overall for animation.
Cool. Sounding like a yay for animation. But, you know, what is sights without sound? Envy, you want to take us into sound and dubbing?
Oh boy.
See how I transitioned there? See that segue?
Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting discussion for me. Ren's voice actor, Bryce Papenbrook. I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life. I'm usually not a fan of his voice work, especially considering he's going to be voicing characters we might be watching later on in this, you know, Shonen Showdown. But I'll say this. I actually didn't mind him as Ren. Once I got used to him, I actually didn't mind him as Ren. It's like the first time I ever liked one of his performances, which shocked me, to say the least. Yukio is voiced by Johnny Young Bosch, so, you know, you're going to get quality voice acting from him.
Yep.
I forget who did the father, but I liked his voice a lot. I forget who did Mephisto. I know you said it earlier, but he was
Sam Riegel.
Yeah, he's
all I could hear.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
I love him.
Yeah, and the sound effects were also really good too. So there was a lot of negative bias going into the voice acting for me, going right in. But overall, I'm surprised that I'm coming out with a yay.
I'm a little on the meh side for the most part. Highlights for me were definitely Sam Riegel. He's hamming it up as a demon. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you gotta have fun when you're gonna be a character like that. Outside of that, like, everyone was fine. I didn't particularly love Rin just being like, "Argh!" But, you know, yeah, everyone was okay. Johnny Young Bosch was okay, but he's always just, he's got a bit of same voice. Like, yeah, he's Yukio, but he also sounds very distinctly like Lelouch and like how many other characters that he's played. So
too many to list.
Yeah, it's just kind of like he. I don't want to say he doesn't have range, but it's just he kind of sounds the same in a lot of roles, is all. So, yeah, doing a good job, but yeah. But yeah, overall, it's yeah, I wasn't super impressed by it, but it wasn't bad either, so give it a meh. Gav?
Not me about to go back and rewatch the first 3 episodes of Blue Exorcist because I did not know that Bryce Papenbrook was Rin.
Yes, he is.
Because me, I would have been like, where's the Nagito Komaeda voice? But anyway, I didn't really care for the voice acting, to be honest. I like probably Mephisto as like Sam Riegel, or Sam Riegel as Mephisto, not the other way around. Maybe, but I liked him probably the best out of all the voice acting. I don't know, like, I think it kind of like it wasn't terrible, but it was just listening to like the first episode, I was like, oh, these voices. Maybe because there was so much like shouting going on from Bryce Papenbrook. Also, like, when they showed the flashbacks of, like, I guess, like, them as they were children, and I...
God, I forgot to mention
grating on my ears. Yeah, cringy.
Sound like this.
Yeah.
It was a week for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
it
did I
was.
forget
Yeah,
that?
it
I was joking about that so much the other day.
So I don't know. I didn't have like great things to say about the voice acting, but it's not like it was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. So I'd give it a meh.
Well, what are your thoughts, Ian?
Yeah. Fucking flashbacks. Yeah, I didn't really like the voice acting very much, to be honest. It was kind of one of those dubs that makes me not like dubs much. I really didn't like Rin's voice. I don't know. It was just, it was kind of annoying. And I like Rin as a character overall, but his voice almost made me not like him as much. I watched it in the Japanese originally, and it was a lot better to me.
Trust me
so
when I
that
say
kinda-
that that's not the most annoying Bryce Papenbrook voice. Trust me.
Really? Oh, no.
Spoiler
He's got
alert,
a
he's
few.
Aaron on Attack on Titan.
Pappenbrook.
Oh.
How's that a spoiler? They could just look it up. You could literally just look up this man's filmography.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't remember if I was annoyed with Aaron or not. It's been such a long time, but now I have the heads up for when we rewatch it.
If we rewatch it, we don't know why.
Oh, sorry.
We don't know we're watching.
Never mind.
You guys ruin every surprise.
Anyway, yeah. Other than him, everybody was pretty okay. And other than the little kid voices, those were god awful.
Well,
But
yeah, the little kid voices. We'll see the little kid voices.
aside from Rin and the little kids, everybody else was very okay. I kind of liked Yukio's voice because I think it fit Yukio very well. So I liked him probably the best. Mephisto was all right, but he was just one of those weird guy voices, so it wasn't impressive or anything. So I think Yukio was the best. Everybody else was okay, except Rin was kind of grating, and the kids were horrible. So it was kind of meh to nay for me. I might put it meh, but almost leaning towards nay.
Oh, that was a little bit harsher. Chippy, what are you feeling like?
I'm feeling meh on the voice acting, for if I'm gonna be really honest. So I also did not know that this was Bryce Papenbrook going into this. And the thing is I'm used to Bryce Papenbrook mostly through Miraculous Ladybug, because he voices Adrian in that. And the thing is, I'm like, oh, this is okay.
Is he screamy too?
No, he's not. He's not a screamy character at all. That's the thing. So it's really weird for me to suddenly connect that these two people are these two characters are voiced by the same person. I'm just like, huh? But the thing is his shouty parts were not quite as grating as another very shouty voice that I know he has given to another character, but we'll get to that one at some point. Yukio was okay. I feel like his voice was just...
now.
I think she was talking about the same one.
Who? What?
No, keep going.
Keep going.
We're talking amongst ourselves just a touch. We gotta look something up.
Okay. Yukio was okay. He was fine. Nothing really spectacular. The father's voice, it wasn't bad, but it was a little off-putting for whatever reason. I don't know. Again, I think it's it needs either pitched up or down a little differently or done a little differently. I'm not really sure. Mephisto was fine. The music was good, but I'm a little bit on everything else, so it's a meh for me.
Was that everyone?
Yeah. Oh, and just to
Okay.
answer your question, some of Bryce Papenbrook's most famous anime dubbing roles is Kirito from Sword Art Online and Shiro from the Fate Stay Night series.
What?
I'd never watched Fate dubbed,
Yeah.
so
Those are
yeah,
his those
don't
are
have
his
a whole lot
two.
to work with there.
Him,
wow.
yeah, him, Aaron, and Kirito are his three most famous dubbing roles.
Well, Cool. So overall, it seems like a meh on dubbing,
Yeah.
dubbing and sound.
Yeah.
But how about them openings? Am I leading off on this one?
Yes.
I like the opening on this. I thought this was like, I feel like I've definitely heard this one before actually seeing this show. Probably like, I feel like we talked about last time how like you'd heard, like some of us had heard Hunter x Hunter on like one of those compilation ones. I feel like this one might be on a couple too. Ending doesn't really stick out to me right now. But yeah, I think I'm an overall yay for the opening at least. Gav?
The opening, is that what we're talking about right now? Sorry.
Yeah,
Openings
opening
and
ending,
endings.
whatever. Yeah.
I enjoyed both the openings and endings, though I had to go back and like listen to it. So it's like, I don't know if that's like a me thing or if that's like a it wasn't that memorable kind of thing. I guess it could go either way because I have a hard time remembering like openings and endings to songs. Or
I mean,
not
that or
songs,
you were
to
watching a lot of
shows.
stuff this week. I know me and Yin were. We went back and watched a Roro 1960s version.
That is true.
That
I
had an
could have
opening.
been. I could have been thinking about the Community opening the whole time I was watching.
Somehow they feel very different though. For different shows, different openings. I don't know if that one would work for the other. We could try it. We could look at it at some point, but
But yeah, I went back and listened to them today, because I was like, I gotta remember what these sound like for when we talk about them later. And I liked the opening. I thought it was like God, I know the word I'm looking for here. All words just escaped my mind.
make up a
It
word.
was like, it wasn't edgy, but it was like kind of like cool in like a edgy kind of way. It was like almost edgy, but like not like to the point where it was like annoying, I guess, if that makes sense. But then I really liked the ending. The ending was very catchy, despite the like, I guess, graphics being kind of weird for it, because they were like, we're going through the city and here's
So
like
weird.
Oh, now I remember
here's
it a little bit.
yeah, like it's 2 p.m. I think it was called, and it was like, we're going through the city and here's these billboards with the characters dancing on them, and I
It
was
kinda
like,
reminded me of like just driving down the highway going home, just like listening to something.
yeah, I mean, it
It
was
was a
like
little weird.
the like animation for that was a little weird, but like the song was like pretty like cool. I don't know if I would have made it like the ending theme for Blue Exorcist, but it was still a good like ending theme. Like, I'd listen to that on my playlist or something. So those are my thoughts. I'd give it a yay.
All right.
Yeah, I think overall, the opening and the ending are a yay for me. I liked the song in the opening a lot. I actually remembered it from when I had listened to it way back when I originally watched the show, so that's pretty good that it was still familiar to me. The visuals are pretty good in the opening. It's kind of standard, but it's still fun to watch. You know, I would never skip that opening, so that's a good thing. The ending I have mixed feelings about, because the song was kind of catchy, I think, but I barely remember it at this point, and the visuals were just like weird to me. It kind of just felt like when you Tokyo drift in a video game. It was weird. I just don't like it. So
You have
yeah.
a point. You have a point.
it was weird, but I think the opening was so good that I can forgive the weird visuals in the ending. So it's a yay overall.
So
Chibs.
I'm like a light yay on the opening and ending. I like the song for the opening, and I like the visuals for the opening. It, it's anime standards, but yeah, it's good. It fits. The song for the ending, again, as we've been saying, it's catchy, but the graphics just had me really confused. And I was just kind of like, I don't understand what this has anything to do with the show. I don't understand why they decided to make it like this. If anyone,
I mean, they're going to school. That
I don't
kind of
know.
has something to do with
I mean,
it.
if anyone can like really understand like why they chose to do it like this and like not something else, I don't know, but yeah, light yay.
Yeah, I'm kind of a meh because I like the first song. I like the OP song. I thought the visuals, to be honest, were kind of generic. Like, I understand, it's a shonen anime. It's going to have, the same type of visuals throughout, but it wasn't bad. But yeah, I really dug the Edie song, but yeah, like everybody else, I just didn't get the Edie visuals, and I just was kind of lazy. I mean, I did kind of get a kick out of that billboard showing the characters dancing. I mean, I'm sure we'll meet those characters and we'll see why they, I guess, form a bond or something like that. But for now, it's just people driving down and seeing a talent show driving. But so yeah, I'm kind of a meh. I like the songs, but I'm kind of iffy on the visuals.
So it sounds overall to be a softish yay.
Did you speak?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the first one to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I give it a yay. Mostly for the opening. I thought the opening song was good.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so it seems like a softish yay overall. Gab, how would you like to take us into final thoughts on this?
Okay, final thoughts. All right. Well, I remember why I liked it, I guess, like, from back when I was, like, 17, 18 and watched it. Like, it's an interesting, like, premise, so, I think that, yeah, like, it has a lot of potential to, like, grow, as the episodes go along. I say that even though I've watched, like, more of it and then did not finish it. I'm sure there's a reason why. I'm sure there's a good reason why for that. But I don't know, like, I enjoyed it overall and I would continue watching it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. I really like this show. I mean, my feelings are similar to when I originally watched it years ago. I actually remember really liking the first half of this season. So, and it didn't disappoint, I still really like it. I think it has some great qualities, everything that we've said before. So I would say, I would definitely, based on these 3 episodes, continue watching the rest. So it's a yay for me.
I'm gonna give
Chips?
this a yay. While I am still confused, I'm still like intrigued. So I would give this another watch. Also the first season isn't that too long, so I could probably like easily watch this over the course of like a week or two.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Envy?
yeah. I already mentioned earlier that I plan on at least watching the end of the first season. It was funny. I watched episode 3, and I watched it on Netflix, and how they give you like 10 milliseconds to say not skip to the next episode. Well, I didn't press it in time, and episode 4 came up, so I was like, I might as well watch it, and I enjoyed it. So it goes to show you that at least early on the show is really good. So yeah, it hooked me with its premise. It hooked me with its character dynamics. I've heard mixed things about the final stretch of the show, but for these 3 episodes, I will give it a yay.
I think I'm going along kind of the same lines as you. I think I'm a yay for this. Good setup, decent enough characters that I feel like I can get attached to. One thing I kind of wanted to mention, Gav, you brought up a little bit with the opening, how like it kind of leans towards edgy but not too far. I thought that this could have very easily turned into just a straight up edgelord show, and it didn't, and I'm kind of glad that it didn't, because those get a little tiresome when they become nothing but angst and whatnot. And this I think
edgelord show?
I'll go into like some ones later. It's just like,
All right, I'm curious.
they're the ones where it's like, oh, look how angsty I am, I'm the son of the it sounds like OC don't steal kind of bullshit that you write when you're like 13 and
Yeah.
going through puberty for the first time.
All right.
It's my immortal.
We've all been there. Yes.
Oh no.
I feel like this very easily could have turned into one of those types, and it didn't. It struck a good balance of character, darkness, lightness, a little bit. It had a right balance and mix of stuff. So I think I'd say this is a yay, and I could see myself watching some more of this. So overall, it looks like this is a pretty yay show for the most part. Hiccup or two here and there, but overall pretty good. Then we watched another show.
One of the most
Called
popular anime in recent memory.
Apparently, My Hero Academia, or whatever else you want to call it. Apparently, it's got 2 or 3 different names.
In English,
by.
it's called My Hero Academia. In Japanese, it's called Boku no Hero Academia. So,
Well, I watched it in English, so I'm going to call it My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia is about a kid named Izuku who lives in a world of superheroes, but he, like 1 in every 5 people, does not have superpowers because his toes have 2 joints. Which sucks because he really wants to be a superhero. He loves this dude named All Might who's like the best superhero, and he wants to be just like him. But you know what? The world just kind of dealt him a bad hand and said, fuck you, Izuku. And yeah, so he's just kind of going through high school, and literally everyone in his class has superpowers. He's like the only... I seriously doubt that 20% of the population is quirkless. It seems like way less. But yeah, so... he's a fanboy still. He's like trying to figure out, how can I be a hero without a superpower? And then he meets All Might after a slime monster tries to drown him with his body.
Yep.
This is free. I don't know if anyone ever watched Batman Beyond, like when it came out, like the early stuff, but there was like this villain named Ink who was like Clayface, but like a little like a refined version of Clayface, and she like tried to drown Batman like that, and it was like, as a kid I was like, oh, that's freaking me the fuck out. So but yeah, it was... I'm actually gonna have to look at those scenes side by side to see which one is like more disturbing. But anyway, All Might smashes him away and gives Izuku an autograph, and he jumps away, but oh no, Izuku's stuck on his leg, and he goes and flies off to a building. He's like, hey, I need to know how to become a hero, but then turns out All Might's out of time with his muscles, so he becomes a skinny, anorexic, crackhead-looking dude, and it turns out his superpower is getting swole real fast. And he says to him, you probably can't be a hero without a superpower, and then he goes to do something, I don't know, but it turns out the slime monster escaped and is trying to kill one of Izuku's classmates, who's a huge dick.
Bakugo.
Not that he
Yeah.
has a huge dick. I don't know. He just is an enormous penis.
Yeah.
So I'm like torn a little bit. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss you, but at the same time, I shouldn't have you die right now. But yeah, so the crowd of people are running around. Apparently, All Might has a limit on how long he can use his superpowers for, and he's like just about up for the day. So he's thinking about not going in there. But then, Izuku Midoriya, in for the win, just comes in to save the day. No superpowers, running through fire, trying to save this guy who who literally earlier on had told him to kill himself. And
Yeah.
he's ineffectual. But it gets All Might to be like, you know what, I gotta do this. This is what being a hero is. And he punches the slime into vapor and makes it rain. Was it raining the slime man?
Yeah, he literally punched
I
him so
genuinely
hard.
have to ask that.
Yeah, he literally punched him so... Well, no. Yes and no. He literally punched...
He punched so hard he changed the weather.
Yeah.
Normally when I see that, it's raining and then they punch the rain away. But this time he punched a clear, cloudless day, and that made it rain. So, interesting. But then he's like, hey, Izuku, you want to be a hero? Guess what? I can make you a hero, because I'm probably going to die soon, because I sustained a number of injuries that, quite frankly, I don't have a stomach. I don't know how I process nutrition right now. Probably explains why my normal self looks like just the worst. Okay, so I inherited this superpower from somebody else. I can give it to you. We just gotta train you up, get you super buff so that your arms don't explode off your body when I give you my powers. And he's like, hell yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna cry a little bit, and then we're gonna go work out. So they work out for a while, getting ready to go for the entrance exam to go to superhero high school. Sky High. No, not Sky High. What is it?
UA Academy.
What does UA stand for? What is that?
To be completely honest, I don't know. I can't remember if they ever explained that in the show or not.
Okay, well, not Sky High. He clears a beach, gets buff, and then he eats some of All Might's hair. This is a weird show. And he gets some power, maybe? We don't know. We haven't seen it yet, but he's going in and they like do the little spiel for like, hey, you're all going to be tested in fighting robots, and then they're going to go fight robots next episode. So that's My Hero Academia in a nutshell. Who's up next? Is it Yin? Are you starting?
Oh, are we starting from the middle?
Yeah, last one started was Gav, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're starting on plot. What do you think?
Plot. I think the plot is really good in this one. I think it starts really strong. I don't think there was really a dull moment in the first 3 episodes, to be honest. I think the training part, maybe, like, I remembered it being longer than it was, and I was kind of dreading it, but then it was actually blissfully short. So I think overall, it was really exciting the whole time. I think there was just enough action, just enough character moments. I mean, they had a lot of quiet moments where it was just about, like, Izuku's characterization and his relationships with people, which we'll talk about more with character. But I think that also goes into plot, like, how it's formulated is really good, where it's like they really knew where to put the softer character-driven scenes and where to put the action scenes to just keep it going, so that you never really get bored during these episodes. So I think they did the plot really well, and overall, you know, it's a story about a kid who wants to be a hero, and I think everybody can relate to the plot, you know. I thought the plot was really good. I don't know what else to say. It's a yay.
Alrighty. Chibs?
I mean, I'm gonna agree with a lot of what Yin said. The thing is, for me, I'm not really usually one for superheroes a lot of the times. I don't know why. It's just not something I'm usually drawn to, as far as, like, tropes in media that I consume. But I thought it, for, like, 3 episodes, like, getting us, like, through the plot of, oh, we have a kid who doesn't have a superpower, who wants to be a superhero. He meets his hero, and then he finds out that he can be a superhero because his all-time favorite hero has a quirk that can be passed down to someone else. And then, like, you know, you do the Rocky training montage. I mean, like, for 3 episodes so far, it's a bit slow. But again, it's shonen, so I'll give it that. Typical shonens are supposed to be a bit slower. So overall, I'm like a light yay on this. Yeah.
All right. Envy?
Man, I feel like me and Yin have been on like the same wavelength the past couple weeks. As literally everything they said in their discussion, I agree with. Like, literally
Yes.
everything. The only negative I have, and we'll get more to it when we talk about characters, is Bakugo. I have a lot to say about him, especially from a longtime viewer. But, yeah, literally everything Yin said, I agree with, so yay.
Alrighty. I'm in agreement, too. Yeah, like, overall, for a superhero thing, not a ton happens. There's really just one villain that was there, and a lot of it is character stuff, but it's good character stuff. And yeah, I'm also trying to think of like a place where like I would have cut something or did anything, and I don't think there's really anything. It keeps moving and keeps my interest the whole time. It's like, yeah, I'd give it a yay. Gav?
God, I hate parroting off of people, but, like...
It's sometimes hard to go last.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically agree with what everyone else had to say about like the plot. That because this is like my second time watching the first 3 episodes. Actually, my third time watching the first 3 episodes. And it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like the show is so popular and does as well as it does because it does have that strong opening. Because it does have, like, that interesting, like, you know, build-up of, here's this kid who wants superpowers and it's super sad, look how sad he is as a child. And then it's like, oh, but don't worry, there's hope for him yet because he meets his hero and can be a hero, and it's like awesome. And then you're gonna get to meet the rest of the students, and it's like, well, I mean, you do, but it's like, you know, it's just like, good for him. I don't really know. I think they did it really well though. Like it could have been a little like faster paced, but I'll get more into that like if we keep watching it, because I know how like the rest of it goes. But yeah, I mean, I'd give it a yay for plot. So
All right. Is that everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounded like an overall yay to me.
Yep.
Sounds good. Characters. Who's leading off a song? Characters. Chibi? Is that you?
Chibi.
Chibi. Chibi.
Yeah, I guess so. So we start off with meeting Izuku Midoriya, who is basically a cinnamon roll. And he's a very studious cinnamon roll. He's like very dedicated to like making notes about all the different heroes and like the different power sets that they have and like what their quirks can do, and just kind of like writing a lot of documentation on them and how like there are both pros and cons to the kind of power sets that they have. Because he's taken very detailed notes, and you can see in the opening that he's got 13 notebooks that he's filled up so far, that he's filled up since he was a child.
In a different universe,
so
he'd be a Rorschach.
A little bit, maybe. But you can tell just how much he wants to be a hero, and he's very obviously devastated by the fact that quirkless, he can never fulfill his dream. But then we have All Might, who is basically like the stand-in, I guess, sort of Obi-Wan kind of figure, who kind of like basically is like, you can fulfill your dreams and be a hero, and he starts to show him how, because he sees that Izuku is a good kid, and that even though Izuku doesn't have a power, that he still wants to, you know, try and save people and, you know, be a hero, like when he goes running through the fire to go and save Bakugo from the slime monster. And that, like, you know, sort of, like, gives him hope to, like, you know, yes, I will train this kid and he will be my successor. And we do have Bakugo that we meet. You know, he's the rival character. We haven't really, like, talked too much about, like, we haven't really not talked, but learned too much about him yet, other than, like,
he's a dick.
He kind of just wants... He wants Izuku to give up because he's like, he should know better by now, and it's like, shut the fuck up. No one asked you. But, so, he's not giving off good vibes right now, so we're gonna put a pin in that. And the only other character that we really get to meet is, Ochako, is how she introduces herself, but I know her as Uraraka. While I know she's like a bigger character later on, she's very sweet from what I've seen so far. So far I don't really have like any issues with the characters. So I'm gonna say I'm a yay. Yeah.
All right. Envy?
All right, time for me to unleash, and this is gonna be the hardest category for me when it comes to my bias.
Are you gonna go plus ultra?
Oh, you bet your ass I am. Izuku, I'm just gonna call him Deku because that's his nickname. I love Deku as a character. I know some people claim he's the typical shonen protagonist, but I think there's enough. I don't want to say that stands out. Yeah, I think there's enough for me that makes him stand out beyond the typical shonen protagonist. He's nice, he's caring, he's studious, he has a drive that I can get behind, and to be completely honest, I see a lot of myself in him, especially with how he was treated in his school for not being like other kids. So I connected with him a lot there. I freaking love All Might. He's my favorite character in the whole series. Again, you don't see a ton of his deep characterization now. You do later on, but for at least in these 3 episodes, there's the nice twist to him. The fact that he's not the big muscular guy all the time. And then, as Chibi said, Uraraka becomes a lot more important later on. But yeah, she's cute in this episode. Oh, Bakugo. Where do I begin with Bakugo?
Go for it. Rip him a new
Bakugo is one of the most popular characters in the franchise.
He is?
He's a franchise.
Yeah, he is.
I don't get the appeal.
Get
And
people like big
I know
penises.
I know the appeal because there's a moment that happens at him in season 3 that changed the character a lot for him. But even then,
Well, that
it
doesn't
didn't
matter
really.
here.
Well, I know. I'm
Today he's just a
this is the only.
penis.
Well, yes, but for even in that moment in season 3, he's still massive dick waffle. I'll just say this. I didn't start coming around to him until the fucking second movie that came out last year. That's how long he's been a royal pain in my ass. He was the biggest problem for me in season 1 and for most of season 2 and 3. He, to me, was unfucking redeemable. There's a difference between being jealous and being a massive fucking bully to the point where you're telling Deku to fucking kill himself. I'm sorry, no. There's nothing redeeming about that, you stupid fucking spiky hair piss waffle. I'm sorry.
I'm seeing a new side of envy. I kind of like it.
You don't understand. I'm going on message boards and YouTube, and everyone's talking about how, oh my gosh, I love Deku. Not Deku. I love.
That seems like it's a perfectly normal thing. He seems a cinnamon roll.
Yeah. And here's the thing too: people ship Deku and Bakugo together. It's like, oh yeah, that's great, an abusive relationship. We've never seen that fucking before on the internet. You fucking idiots! I can't stand Bakugo, especially in the first season. He gets worse later on in the season, if you can believe it.
The rest
of season 1's really good, but season 1, Bakugo is a fucking murderous psychopath. He should be in a psych ward, not in a UA high school. He's basically the Mace Windu of Star Wars, of My Hero Academia for me, where I think he's cool, he's got cool powers, but he's a massive... You know what? I'm not going to say the word because we get censored off YouTube. I can't stand fucking Deku.
No, we won't. What are you talking about? How many times have I said penis today?
No, the other word. The C word.
Oh, that's a little harsher.
Yeah, I'm not... Yeah.
You think Mace Windu is that? I think you and me are going to have some different... I think you and me are going to have some conversations after this.
I can't stand Mace Windu as a character. I think he's badass, but I can't stand him as a character. But anyway, yeah, but... So basically, I'm still a yay because I love Deku, Uraraka, and All Might, but at least until 2020, in my mind, fuck Bakugo to the fucking Jupiter, and because he's a fat, massive fucking cock.
I don't know how I'm supposed to...
Sorry, I've been waiting so long to get that off my chest on the internet. So
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up, thanks. Yeah, no, I'm a yay on the characters. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the whole situation with Bakugo. I thought, from what you're saying, it sounds like he sticks around the school. I thought he was just going to turn into a villain at some point.
No, he's a student. He's a classmate.
Damn. Never goes evil.
Yeah.
He feels like he's 2/3 of the way there.
No.
Damn.
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know what? I don't want to pair it too much. I think all I can really say here is, we were kind of, I could see a lot of people identifying with Deku, Izuku, whatever you want to call him, green hair kid. But you know what? Because we've seen so far some other cinnamon roll characters just in this tournament, and I think this is what I was looking for. Like, Gav, I know you love Gon, but I got no character for Gon in Hunter x Hunter. Even though I knew he was probably going to be cinnamon roll-esque. This is a cinnamon roll where I got character too. And that's why I'm definitely a yay on him. Like, that's really all I can add to this, I think. I think everyone else is pretty much said it all at this point. Especially Envy. yeah, I'm a yay. Is anyone next? Gav, you next?
Yeah. Yep. So I love Deku. Deku is a cinnamon roll, and he's a smart cinnamon roll, like Envy said, and he's just great, and I love him so much. And I really like All Might too. He's just like, he's probably my favorite teacher character in like this show, and that says a lot because there are a lot of great teacher characters. But he's
apparently
just
they can't
be...
teach Bakugo how to be a decent human being.
Yeah, no, they fucking can. And honestly, I'm so glad that someone finally agrees with me about Bakugo, because let me tell you, I hate Bakugo so fucking much. I do not like him at all, and anyone who's always like, oh, Bakugo's one of my favorite characters, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Maybe they're a sociopath.
Yeah, I don't get it, especially like, he's just a massive, like, dick. And yeah, the whole him telling Deku to, like, kill himself and stuff, I'm like, that's not okay. Like, you're not redeemable after that. Like, what Envy said, like, I cannot like you. I cannot like you. And he does get worse. Like, you only see him really connect with, like, one character for a while, and that's not in, like, that's in, like, seasons, like, beyond this, too. Like, it's just... he's just the worst. He's the worst, and I hate when people ship him with Deku. I hate that toxic relationship so much. I'm like, why the hell would you ship, like, and people are like, oh no, him and Deku could actually, like, he actually cares for Deku, and that's why he picks on him. No!
Yeah,
no.
Okay, later on in the manga, like, currently, I can understand that now because I know what happens in the manga, and I get it, but, like, for, like, the first 4 seasons... Bakugo has no redeeming qualities towards Deku at all. He sees him as nothing more than a rival and a hindrance.
You know, from everything you guys are saying, it does sound like he does care about Deku in like a Joker cares about Batman kind of way. Also not healthy. You know.
God.
But God, I hate Bakugo. Alright, I'm glad someone else hates Bakugo as much as I do. And I'm also glad to get that off my chest, because I feel like no matter who I go to about BNHA, they're like, oh yeah, Bakugo's cool, and I ship Baku Deku. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. Nope, don't say anything, because you want to keep your friends, don't you? But...
Toto Deku for the win.
Yes, thank you. Alright.
He hasn't shown
There's
up.
Another...
guess he doesn't matter.
But he's good.
Doesn't matter. Did anyone else need any character? Did you talk characters yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with what everybody else has said. I really like the characters in the show. I love Izuku. I know some people do say that he's, like, kind of a boring protagonist, or that he cries too much or whatever, but I think he's
a lot.
He does cry a lot, but it doesn't take anything away from me. He's just kind of, like, sensitive. But I don't know. Like, I find him to be a really interesting protagonist and definitely relatable. And I think that he has certain little quirks, and I'm not talking about the superpowers. I mean quirks like personality.
That's why I was calling it powers, because quirks seems quirk is like a personality thing, I thought.
But that's what they call it. But anyway, I like that he's always scribbling in his little notebook, and he's kind of like, he always zones out into his own world about, like, superheroes and about how things work. He's, like, a really analytical character, even though you wouldn't think that he is. So I really like that about him. It makes him different to me. And I don't know, his whole arc with wanting to be a hero. I mean, we see, like, little Deku just, like, being so cute and loving All Might. I don't know. It just really works. I think there's so much emotional power and relatability in his story that I just really like Deku. And even in the first 3 episodes, I think you really feel for him, like, once All Might says you can be a hero and you can have my powers. I think it's very emotional, even though we haven't seen him very much. It feels like we already know him, so... but enough gushing over Deku. Bakugo, it's been said. I mean, he's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. He sucks. I think later on, his relationship with Deku does go somewhere, but shipping them, I can't get behind it. It's just like, there's so much just bad history in the first couple seasons. It's like, no. Like, even though their relationship takes a different turn later on, it's like, still no. But I think he's like a well-made rival, but I also don't get why people like fangirl over him and stuff. It's just not happening for me. But I think in terms of being a rival, I'm gonna like say that I think he has a good eye for like who is his rival, like who he can respect, but then he doesn't give them respect, so it doesn't make any sense. But like he clearly has an eye for like who's powerful and stuff like that. Like he has some good skills himself. I think he is solid as a sort of rival character, but he never becomes a full antagonist or anything. So I don't know. He's but I guess I can see certain appeals in him. All Might's just great. I mean, I like the duality of All Might, and I mean, when he comes on screen, he's just awesome every time. Even like his like little weak personality, like he's still like great as a character. So I love All Might. We barely see Araraka, but you know, those are the main characters that we see. Also, I want to give a shout out to Deku's mom, because she is like the best anime mom. So I like her. Yeah. Yay for me.
Okay. That's
Yeah, I forgot about Ingu too. Yeah, she's a good mom.
She's good.
This sounds overall like a pretty yay group of characters. Yeah.
Bakugo.
Except for him.
Besides Bakugo, fuck Bakugo.
It seems what I'm hearing is no one likes him, but he's at least a well-made character.
I think he is, actually.
So
I'll
you could
give him
still
that.
count that towards a yay. Even
He
evil
just
characters
sucks
have a
as
place
like a
in
personality, yeah.
things. But you know, that's characters, and characters got to fill a world, and we got to talk about the world building. Envy, why don't you start us off on world building?
Yes. As we mentioned previously, it takes place in a world where 80% of the population has a quirk, and obviously when you give people powers, it's like that, it's almost kind of like that line from The Incredibles with Syndrome, once everybody has superpowers, nobody will, or something like that. But so like, obviously there needs to be people that stop people from, doing evil or crime, so that's why there's so many heroes in the world. I think they did a good job of setting up the world. The only thing, and they really don't do this that often, even later on in the series, is that we don't see a lot of the regular folks use their powers that often. So, like, if 80% of the world, or 4 out of 5 people, have powers, you would think you would see them use their powers more often, even if, like Deku's mom, she just lifts objects. Like, it's nothing, you can't be a superhero for, but, like, she uses it somewhat, so maybe we could have seen more shots of people using their powers. But overall, I like the setup. I like, the world building aspect. I mean, I love superhero media, so I'm more biased towards it. So yeah, I give it a yay.
So I'm a hard nay on this world building.
I kind of figured you would.
Yeah, and it's only for one reason. Okay. We got no explanation for that baby. Okay? The glowing baby that started this all? Nothing. It's just a 2-second footnote. I'm kidding. No. This was I actually thought the world building of this was pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot in the way of exposition dumping. There's a bit of narration, but it's majority from Izuku's perspective, and just kind of like, it felt a lot more natural than having a narrator or even a teacher kind of lore dump stuff, because I genuinely felt like it was just him as a character, almost explaining it to himself. Like, I feel like we've all been there where we've been, like, thinking about something like one of our hobbies or our interests.
Yes.
And we've just kind of, like, gone over a ton of facts in our head for some reason.
Yes.
Like, it felt very natural despite kind of being spoon-fed to us a little bit. And what was not spoon-fed to us, you could just figure out implicitly from the world that was already presented. And I think that worked very well. It made it feel very rounded in a short amount of time. So I got to give this a yay. Yeah.
I
want to know
would
about
have
that baby, though. What the fuck with that baby? Was that the reason? What's going on? Someone let me know.
I have to agree with everything that you said, Al.
Right? The baby.
Yeah, the baby. Nah, I like...
Glowing baby is the key to everything.
I honestly, like, agree so much with the whole, like, Deku narrating everything, and, like, how it just seems like a conversation you're having with yourself about, like, how things are going in your life, and, like...
And he clearly talks to himself.
Yeah. And
we've all been there.
Yeah, like, I can relate. I do it, like, all the time. I'll be, like, sitting there, and I'll be like, so, you know, like, this thing, blah, 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 like, just to myself, like, not aloud usually, but, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. I assume he's not speaking out loud, except for that one time in class.
Yeah, but, I like how they did that with, like, the narration and the, like, plot, like, you know, like, just, like, giving us information about, like, the world and everything. That was nice. And then, like, it's, like, you do see the other, superheroes, like, trying to, like, stop the slime dude or whatever, like, with their quirks, and it kind of, like, shows just how important superheroes are by, like, the kind of crowds that they draw. So I do like that. I would say that it'd be cool to see, like, some more... Well, actually, no, because that's a thing that, like, you can't really, like, do. Anyway, never mind. Forget I said anything.
Already forgotten.
Alright, cool. But yeah, I like the plot a lot, or not the plot, but, like, the world building and the... I guess, well, that part of the plot is really world building too, but, like, I do really like the world building in the show. I think it did a really good job in just the first 3 episodes. Like, kudos to them. But yeah, so that's a yay for me.
Yeah, I think the world building in the show is really awesome. I agree with, like, what Al said about it just feeling natural, which I really appreciate. I think it also is easy because it has this basis in, like, comic books, and a lot of us are already familiar with comic books and how those worlds work. So I think it's easy to just embed yourself in it and not need that much information. So it doesn't really need to, like, lore dump or anything like that. All you need is that little thing in the beginning, and you kind of understand everything that you need for it, and then you just see little things in the background. Like, I remember when a girl got knocked over, she was just a regular girl who's not a superhero. She had, like, a force field thing around her, and I was like, okay, yeah, I see that regular people do use their powers to some extent, though I kind of agree maybe we could see that a little bit more, but I think we do see it a little bit. And just, like, how the world functions in general, I think they have enough going on, like, in the background or just randomly, that it all kind of makes sense, and it feels like a world that's alive and a world that's, like, populated by people and things, and other things are happening outside of Midoriya. So I don't know, I really like how they did the world building. It just feels really solid for me, so I would give it a strong yay.
All right. Chibs?
I'm a yay on the world building. As everyone's been saying, it's, like, pretty natural. Like, the only thing I would really say that I'm sort of, like, confused about is how far in the future is this? If we've lost our second joint in our pinky toes? Because I'm just trying to figure this out timeline-wise, because I'm like, I'm not really sure how... Like, can we lose that second joint? Because I feel like it'd be harder to walk.
It's like, I feel like if it's at that point, maybe things should be a little bit more futuristic or, like, different than our world. Because it feels like everything's, like, the same.
Yeah. That's
aside
kind
from
of
superheroes,
like what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just like, this feels very, like, present, like, now. Even though they're, like, saying, oh, one day a baby was born with superpowers, and then, like, suddenly people
What happened to the
started having
baby?
superpowers.
It's
Yeah,
the baby's
exactly. But the whole fact of the matter is like, were people then suddenly just born with superpowers, or did people start getting superpowers overnight? Which
Might I throw this out there?
I don't know. I'm confused.
Perhaps we didn't have as many technological advancements in that version of the world because so many people supplemented with superpowers.
Maybe.
Like, usually technology is a result of trying to fill a need to do something. But maybe a number of needs were being filled by the people with superpowers, so there wasn't a need to advance technology to get to the point where we'd have a technology for whatever that need was. So which means it would kind of stagnate a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just riffing theories.
Could be.
I don't know. I feel like if magic was real, we wouldn't need technology, but I'm not sure. Anyway,
so you're what was your thing on this?
I think she said she gave it a light yay or a yay or something like that.
Overall, it sounds pretty yay from everybody for the most part. The score for world building is pretty much a yay, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so. Okay. Am I up next? I think I'm up next.
Yep.
Art and animation. So, I want to talk about same face. It's something you see a lot in some anime. This is not one of those animes. I was really impressed with just how many unique facial expressions every fucking character had. I mean, even beyond that, this thing is well made. I think the character designs are unique. They also look like clean, and it's animated very, very nicely. Everything's very smooth. The action scenes, for what we saw, they have some dynamic shots in them that are really nice. How they animated like the Blob and All Might and everyone, I thought was really well done. I don't really have any complaints. So, yeah, that's a yay. Gav?
Yeah, I would agree. I love the character designs. I think that the animation's very like clean and like just awesome. Like if you watch those fight scenes, like it's really, really good. And yeah, just I don't know like what else really to say about like the animation besides that I really like it. And I'd give it a yay. I mean, I'm sure more people have more to say about it. But oh, yeah, like you said about the same face, like definitely like not here. People are very expressive and very different, and I like that a lot. I think it's good, like good character design whenever, you know, you get characters that are so vastly different from each other that you can just like draw like, you know, one like thing and you can be like, oh, that's Bakugo, for example. And you just know like, you know, what's up. But yeah,
it's good, especially for a superhero show.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, so the animation gets a yay from me.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the animation's a yay. Everybody looks distinct. The character designs are really good. I would say I really like how All Might, for instance, like when he's in his superpower, like All Might mode, I like the like really dense dark lines that kind of feel like an homage to like comic book characters, you know, like American comic book characters, like how they are drawn. Like he looks a little bit different from everybody else, but I think it's to make him look larger than life and to make him look like a comic book character.
I think he is kind of a huge like homage just to American
yeah,
comics
exactly.
He had like American flags behind him at one point.
Right. So it fits his character to look like that, you know, and it really makes him stick out. And I think every other character is really well done too. I think they definitely weren't lazy about designing the characters, and yeah, I'd say it's a yay. I almost said nay, but is a yay.
I mean, yeah, I'm a yay. Just I I generally have nothing to add, though, because everyone's basically saying everything that I thought.
That's okay.
Right, simple enough. Envy?
Yeah, I pretty much I'm in agreement with everybody else. I only got two things. One, you know how there's like different masks that people can buy of like Michael Myers or the guy from Scream. I forget his name.
Ghostface.
Or Ghostface. I want a freaking mask of All Might when he's in his All Might form, and I am here. I want that. I want that as a mask.
Yeah.
And then just when we're talking about art and animation, we were, praising Studio Mappa last week. I want to praise Studio Bones, the studio that did this show. They look up their filmography. They've done a ton of shows in the past, and I think Studio Bones is one of my. They're either number 1, number 2, or number 3 for like my favorite anime studios. So yeah, they're really good. So it's a high yay for me.
All right. Sounds like a yay for animation. Gav, how'd you like to take us into the sound and dubbing section?
Okay. I suppose I can do that. So the baby voices, they're toddler voices.
Well,
Let's
baby
talk
voices again.
about-
We're back into that. Who the hell do we have over there?
Like when he's like, Bakugo, like stop, like you're making him cry. Like I can't even do it. I can't. My voice cracks too much. But it's just like that was that's annoying. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Like I like the rest of the voice acting. Like I think it's fine. Like I remember watching it the first time and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but like Deku's voice is fine, Bakugo's voice is fine. I really, really like All Might's voice.
Of course,
Christopher Sabat, baby.
Yeah.
So
Seen him earlier. Had no complaints about him.
Yeah. So like he's great. And just I don't know, like overall, like I think the voice acting's pretty good, besides for like those annoying like Ka-chan like and baby voices going on there, but you're gonna get that in your flashbacks and that's just how it's gonna be. But overall I'd give it a yay, so
Yeah, I'd pretty much say the same as Gav. Like, the children voices are very annoying, but I've kind of gotten used to that's just how anime children dub voices sound. They're, like, all bad. I don't know if I've ever seen a good one, except Dororo. Again, Dororo.
That was not a dub.
But, oh, yeah, maybe the voice is annoying.
I don't think they've dubbed it yet, so I don't know.
Okay, well, yeah, we can't even count that. Yeah, every
They have
dub
dubbed
I've
it.
heard.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to check it out.
We'll have to see if Dororo sounds weird.
I'm down for watching Dororo again.
But, yeah, usually children are just bad. I don't know. I hate anime dub children voices. But, other than that, I actually really like the dub, surprisingly. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it because I don't think I've watched the dub before. I think I watched it just subbed. But I thought the voices fit the characters, and yeah, I'd say All Might. I might even like his English voice better than his Japanese voice, which
Damn right you do.
I do not say, like, ever. I hardly ever prefer the dubs, but I think All Might's voice was even better in this version. So, it just fit really well. And whenever he was like, I am here, it was like, yes, you are. It just
Oh, he didn't
worked.
say I am here. He said, I am here.
Yeah.
You gotta put some bass into it.
It just worked. So I would say overall, the All Might's voice overpowered the bad children voices. So it's a yay.
Chibe?
I'm a light yay on this. So, the thing with this, and I don't know if it's just me with, like, anime children voices, I don't really mind them at all. Mostly just because kid voices are annoying, and that's just what I'm expecting. So, I kind of give them a pass. Because I'm like, okay, they're all supposed to sound like tiny children. I know. Okay, we're done. So Izuku's voice was fine. I feel like I want to say the guy's name is Justin. I forget what his last name is.
Justin Brenner, yeah.
Yeah, he did good. Especially with all the like high, screamy, crying parts. I thought he did very well with doing those lines, because some people like just have like real issues with like getting those kinds of voices like out and like getting them to like fit with like the face that's being given and like the pitch and everything. So those were good. All Might's voice was good. We didn't really see Uraraka very much, but her voice was like high pitched and sweet. So, but we really only saw her for a little bit. The only voice that I really kind of had a problem with was Bakugo's, and that's, I feel like it's another case of where the voice didn't fit the face for me. So I think that's why it was a little off-putting to listen to. I feel like had they given him not, I feel like he just needed a different voice. I don't really know what else to say about him. Like, I don't feel like the voice really, not that it didn't, I don't know. Something about it was just off, and I wasn't real thrilled with it. So yeah, I'm a very soft yay on the voice acting and sound.
All right. Envy?
Okay, so this is a high yay for me, and then I'll explain why. A couple years ago, I want to say it was 2019, I binged the first 3 seasons and the first movie in like a month, and I watched the dub because I heard good things about the dub, and I loved it. I loved the characters' voices, even Bakugo's voice, and I thought it was a really damn good dub. When season 4 came out, late 2019 into 2020, sometimes Funimation would be like in a 2-week delay to get their dubs out, especially, with the pandemic. So I was impatient, and I watched it for the first time subbed. I can't speak for everybody because I know everybody has different preferences. Honestly, the dub is so good to me that I can barely watch the sub anymore because I just don't think I don't think the characters' voices match that well in the sub. I'm kind of the opposite of Chibi. I thought the dub's voices were perfect in my mind, and so that's why I give it a high
I didn't say that
yay.
they weren't bad. I just didn't like Bakugo.
But no, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone has a different opinion, and also, I'll be completely honest. I didn't mind the young children voice actors in both shows. The only reason why I say that is because we live in a world where the Ghost Stories dub exists with that little boy.
But that's great. That's just hilarious.
No, it's great.
That's supposed to be.
It's like mocking the little kid voices.
Yeah. Everyone else.
So yeah,
I'm a. That one.
So yeah, I'm a high yay.
I mean, I don't know what I can add on top of that. It's a yay for me. I mean, All Might clinches it. Yeah, yay. Yay for yay dubbing. Yay dubbing. Yay dubbing. And Yin, what do you think about openings and endings?
I really like the opening of this one. It just gets you pumped. I think it's a really good opening. I think the visuals are great too, especially like the beginning with him and All Might. It just like really sets the stage. I think it really matches the show actually, like the song. And I like the progression of it actually. I think it's a really good opening. And a really memorable one too. I also think the ending is really good because sometimes, like, no matter what note the episode ends on, the ending still fits to me. And especially when it's like an emotional ending for the episode, I think the ending song really works. It really makes me feel something. The visual with him just running, like it was like kind of like do something instead of just running, but it kind of worked because it kind of like, I guess, was thematic in a way. So I appreciated that, even though it was a bit whatever. But overall, I would say the opening and ending are really great, and I would give them a yay.
Chips?
So visuals were good for both. I like both of the songs. Yay.
Alrighty, Envy?
Yeah, it's not my favorite in the series, but I like the first opening song a lot. Yeah, I like Yin said, it does get you pumped up, especially in the second half when the chorus hits. I'll admit the visuals in the beginning part of it were kind of your typical I'm a shonen protagonist, I'm walking contemplating my future or something like that, and then they also they show Bakugo and Deku when they're young, transplanting one when they're younger, when they're older, showing that they're growing together. And me and Gav already talked about how that's problematic, but whatever. But yeah, when they show all the characters together, it is cheesy showing all the characters in an anime OP, but it worked for me. The ending song I liked, the ending visuals I kind of thought were. Yeah, I wish there was more going on than him, running after the star for most of it, but overall, I'm kind of a light yay.
Again, I feel like I don't know what I can really add to that. It's a pretty solid yay for me. I thought both songs were good. I thought the openings, the animation stuff was good. The ending animation was good. I thought, yeah, it's just pretty solid. Gets in your head a little bit. It's nice. Yay.
Yeah, I would say that Envy said it all of my opinions. And yeah, I mean, I have the opening song stuck in my head, like, since I listened to it earlier. I was like, oh, let's listen to this again. So, like, both the opening and the ending, so I could remember what they sounded like for this.
Also, the band that sings the OP has the best name I've ever heard for a band, Porno Graffiti.
That's certainly awesome. A visual.
Yes, but I enjoyed, like, both the songs a lot, and the visuals were, like, okay, like, it's a little cheesy to have like, every character in the opening, but, like, it's to be expected, but, like, overall, I'd give everything a yay, so.
It sounds like openings and endings are a yay today. What are our final thoughts? Chibi, are you leading us off on this one?
Yeah, I guess I am. So, alright. So, I've got sort of two different opinions on this, and I know, like, we're gonna go, like, for what actually counts as a score here, from my objective opinion here. My objective opinion is a light yay for this show. Like, it's a good show. I'd probably objectively, it'd be a show I'd continue watching, because, like, story's good, characters, at least the main character, seems real good, as well as All Might. And everything else is just good. If I'm a little confused, sort of, kind of want to at least see for right now, because, like, they're going into, like, the first part of the examination, see how that turns out. But on a personal level, and this is not a taste thing, it's really not a taste thing, I would give this a nay for me personally watching it, mostly just because there have been some things that have happened in my life over the past couple years that I just, every single time I feel like I would start watching this show, I would just start fucking crying. And I don't really think that that's going to be a good experience for me if I'm going to try to keep watching a show. Granted, if this show goes on and is the show that we're going to continue on with from this bracket, yes, I'll continue watching it. But me, personally, if I were to be watching this by myself, I wouldn't continue with it.
Damn, dude.
So.
Might be guilting us into not voting on it now.
Again, take my objective answer as the one that counts for this. So, objectively, it's a light yay. Not the personal one.
Damn.
Makes sense.
Envy?
Well, obviously you guys know how much I feel about the show in general, but obviously I gotta, stick to just the first 3 episodes, and if you're just sticking with the first 3 episodes, I think the show did a good enough job getting you invested in the world with Deku as a character, wanting to see him, continue to grow and continue to evolve, and obviously it ends on a big cliffhanger with him going into the entrance exam, so if you're like a Saturday morning cartoon, what's going to happen to Deku next week? Will he pass the exam? Will he fail? Tune in next week. And it's like, so on that level, I give it a yay.
I think I'm thinking along those lines too. I think it had really good setup for its overall plot, world building, characters. I'm already invested in a number of them. I have qualms about not knowing what's up with this baby. That has to be important somehow. I don't know how, but it has to be.
Good luck.
But
Yeah.
outside of that, yeah, this is a very. I can see why this is popular. I feel like this could very easily suck some people in. So yay. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like kind of weird for me to say because I haven't seen like very much of like the anime compared to like the manga. Like I've read like a good bit of the manga, like not completely caught up with it, but like like solid, like got pretty far. And I don't know what it is, like it's probably just the fact that like I can't like sit there and watch shows for a long time like a lot of other people can. Like it's hard for me to like binge stuff. But it's like I'd still watch it. Like it's still a yay for me. Like I'd continue on with it. And I'm more excited to continue on with the manga, to be honest, which I know we're not judging, but like I'm just like telling you like my personal opinion on it, just because like yeah. But I mean it's a good show, and I'd still give it a yay. I do want to like continue like watching more of it to like be like, oh yeah, like I read it and watched it, and be like not feel like a loser for not watching like nearly as much as like I should for liking it and being a fan of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a similar page where I've read it more than I've watched it. I mean, I'm completely caught up on the manga. I've read the whole thing and I love the manga. But I haven't watched the entire show. I think I've watched the first 3 seasons, and I really like this show, and I definitely want to catch up and watch seasons 4, and I think 5 is going to be coming out. So, I mean, obviously I've watched 3 seasons, so I would consider it a yay in terms of continuing watching as well. Although, everybody should read the manga, to be real. It's great.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like an overall yay for the final thoughts. It's like, sounds like a very yay show. Which is going to make it difficult when we're going into the actual showdown portion of the show, because we seem to have a lot of yays for both shows this week.
Yep.
It was kind of like that last week, too, where we had, well, to be fair, a lot of us had more of a yay for one show, but yeah I think it's kind of even this week, so it's going to be the time for the matchup.
Yep, I think it's time for the matchup. So, Envy, why don't you lead us off into the plot section? Who'd you end up going with?
This may come as a shock to everybody, but I'm going to give the edge to Blue Exorcist. I love My Hero Academia to death. It's one of my favorites, but if you were to tell me which 3 episodes had the better structure and had the better... Oh, not so much better structure, but to me, which show had the more interesting and engaging plot, I honestly would give to Blue Exorcist. Again, I can't speak to how Blue Exorcist ends, but to me, the start was more interesting and more captivating to me. So I'm going to give the edge to Blue Exorcist.
How about that?
Wow.
For me, it is difficult because I think both of them do pretty well for the most part, with all their setup and get the ball rolling. But like, I might actually be agreeing with you because just by the slightest edge, because I think like stuff definitely happened in My Hero Academia, but I think the stakes were already higher in Blue Exorcist, and that kind of it gives it a bit of an edge to me. So I'm gonna go Blue Exorcist too, I think. Gav?
Oh, this is hard. Oh boy. Give me a second. Let me collect my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
The past 2 weeks have not been easy ones, have they?
No.
No.
They're all pretty good.
So try to think what happened exactly in, like, each one. Try to think back to, like, the beginning of our episode talking about this. Yeah, I mean, because Blue Exorcist is, like, started out, like, with action, and it got you, like, right into it, and now he's going to school, but BNHA also got, like, right into it, and now he's,
Going to school.
gonna go to school. Yeah.
So many of these third episodes end with them just going to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or taking a hunter exam.
Same difference. Same difference, man.
So, yeah, what's school and Hunter Hunter?
School's for
But-
fools. Catch a fish.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Blue Exorcist, just because I think the plot, like, caught my attention more, like, while I was watching it. Like, and I mean, I could just be because I've seen, like, My Hero Academia, like, other times, so maybe that's why it was, like, it's harder for me to, like, sit still and watch it. But I don't know, I feel like I didn't have that problem the second time watching Blue Exorcist, so I'm gonna have to say Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to agree with what everybody else said, where I think it's really close and both did a really good job with the first 3 episodes in the plots, but I think Blue Exorcist, just plot-wise, had a bit of the edge, so I'm going to give it to Blue Exorcist too.
Jibs?
I mean, I'm also going with Blue Exorcist again.
Damn.
Because the plot just, like, I don't know, it kind of just grabbed me more. It's a lot more enticing. It's a lot more fast paced. And also, again, paranormal aspects are, like, of a story are kind of something I'm really into. So yeah, it's a yay for me.
It looks like, everyone went with Blue Exorcist, so it'd be pretty hard for it to go to My Hero Academia at that point. So Blue Exorcist gets the yay for plot. Then we move along right into characters. I'll start us off. I think both of them presented good characters, but I definitely, right off the bat, was just in love with some of the characters in My Hero Academia. It just really worked for me right off the bat, especially if we're going to compare protagonist to protagonist. Not that Rin's bad, but Izuku's just, you feel for him way more, I think. So I'm going to go My Hero.
Yeah, I like the characters. Like, the characters in My Hero Academia are just very likable characters, except for Bakugo.
There's always one.
But, like, even then, Bakugo's a better villain than Satan. Like, not even villain. I mean, he's not a villain, but he's, like, a better antagonist, I guess you could say, than Satan is. So,
Wow.
Bakugo is worse
He's
than the
eviler.
devil.
Eviler than Satan.
So, I'm gonna have to go with BNHA. I'm gonna have to go with My Hero Academia, so...
Yeah, I think both had good characters overall. Both had a good cast of characters, but I think My Hero Academia edges it out a little bit in terms of characters. Mostly, I think the protagonist is so good and so relatable that I think it just... And All Might is so great that I think it just has to take the win a little bit.
So for me, for characters, I'm giving it to My Hero Academia, mostly just because while we do, like, get a good cast of characters in Blue Exorcist, like, I feel like the characters in My Hero are, one, just, like, a lot more compelling, because, like, with Izuku you actually, like, really feel for him. And with All Might, you're just kind of like, oh my god, you're a lovable doofus. But, yeah. Whereas with, like, Blue Exorcist, like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't really feeling like a lot of emotions towards the character, so yeah, I'm gonna give it to BNHA.
Okay.
It's tough for me because I love Deku, I love All Might, and I liked all the characters we got introduced to in Blue Exorcist. I came around to Ren. I liked Yukio. I liked the father. I liked Mephisto. And you guys don't need to hear my tirade about Bakugo again. So that's the only thing that's weighing me down. So basically, I'm going to go to Blue Exorcist because Blue Exorcist, I didn't hate any of the characters, whereas My Hero Academia, I hated one of the main supporting characters. So even though I love the other two main characters we've been introduced to so far, my hatred of Bakugo was like my only blemish of season 1. So that's why I'm giving it to Blue Exorcist.
Oh, there you go. Still kind of swings in My Hero Academia's favor, though. They get the yay for character today, and it looks like we're moving on into world building. Gav, you want to take us off?
Sure. Okay, world building. So I'm gonna give it to My Hero Academia, just because I think that it's just a very interesting, like, world that they live in with, like, the quirks and, like, superpowers and everything like that. Also, with the narration being the way it was, like, it's just a lot easier to understand. Like I said before, kind of how it was confusing in Blue Exorcist with the Asaya and Gehenna thing. It was just like, I don't know, not confusing in My Hero Academia, and so I gotta give it to My Hero.
Yeah, I think the world building was pretty good in both. But I'd say overall, I felt more embedded in the world with My Hero Academia, so I'm gonna give it to that one.
Okay. GB?
So the only thing that I really have to say about this is, like, they both had some good world building. I was very confused as to some things in both. But the thing is that I don't know. I guess I'd go with Blue Exorcist mostly because that one is a little more grounded in reality, and I don't know. I guess, like, for my genres, I tend to prefer more urban fantasy than, like, I don't know, more abstract science fiction. So yeah, I guess I'll give it to Blue Exorcist.
This is really tough for me because I usually prefer superhero world building and superhero shows than, mythical or, demonic stuff. But the world building in Blue Exorcist I thought was really handled well, especially with, the whole he's the son of Satan and, you got to go train. Like, Deku's training to be the very best, like no one ever was. And it's still a lofty goal. Whereas with Blue Exorcist, Ren is training to not only, protect the world and others, but, the fact that, he's trying to avenge his dad's death and his, trying not to get killed because, he's a demon. So it's both worlds do a really good job with its world building. And obviously I'm more invested now with My Hero because I've seen more. But again, if you're just basing it off the first 3 episodes, for me, I would give the edge to Blue Exorcist.
So it looks like it comes down to me.
The
Always
tiebreak.
always a fun position to be in. I think you were one of the major tiebreakers from last week.
It's rough.
I'm not going to say again that this is tough. All of these are going to be tough to some degree because, like, these are both good shows. I think what edged it out for me was that My Hero Academia is good, but at the same time, I've definitely seen this world a couple different times. Not to say that I haven't seen the stuff in Blue Exorcist before, but some of it kind of interests me a little bit more right now because I think there's more potential for me to see something that maybe I haven't seen a bunch of times as far as world building goes. So I'm gonna say Blue Exorcist on this one. Which, yeah, Blue Exorcist takes the A for world building, and we lean on into art and animation. Yin, what are your thoughts?
Oof. I really like the art and animation in both. As I said during the actual rounds, like I really can't find much fault in either of them in terms of the art and animation. So it's kind of tough for me. Except that little bit of like CGI in Blue Exorcist, like with the gate or whatever, was kind of weird. But that's like hardly even a thing because it was a few years ago. Can we come back to me? I'm like torn.
If you want to be the tiebreaker at the end, should it come
What
to
if
it?
what if I'm not?
Well, it's a gamble you take. So we got an abstain for now. Chippy, what do you think?
Alright, so for me, I'm gonna give animation and art to My Hero. Mostly because, like, and I guess this is a bit nitpicky, but what Yin started saying with, like, the CGI for Blue Exorcist, like, some of it's a little bit off-putting, and it doesn't really flow with the rest of it. Again, I think that's intentional, because it's not supposed to. It's from another world. But everything in My Hero it flowed so well, and it looked really good. So I'm gonna give My Hero the edge on this one. For that.
All right. Envy?
Yeah, I like the art style and animation for both shows, and obviously the first season in My Hero came out in 2016, whereas Blue Exorcist came out in 2011. So that's obviously a 5-year difference. But I'll say this: I'm going to give the edge to My Hero for one reason and one reason only. I think the color palette of the show is more aesthetically pleasing to the eye than Blue Exorcist. Not that Blue Exorcist is bad. I like that, it's dark and dreary at times because it fits with the theme. But I think if you're not really into anime, but you want to watch an anime for the first time, I think it'd be a lot easier for you to get into the colors in the world of My Hero more than Blue Exorcist. So that's why I'm going to give it to My Hero.
Yeah. I'm kind of in some of the same line of thinking that you are. But for me, it kind of came from, like, even though, again, like we keep saying, both shows are good, and Blue Exorcist certainly has good character design, I could so easily just pick out every single character that I saw from My Hero. So, like, simply from an art perspective and character design, I think I'm going to go My Hero on it. Gav?
Yeah, I like both the character designs and the the animation's good for both, but I like the character designs in My Hero more, and I also like Envy said, the color palette like in My Hero's like very, very good. Like that's one thing I always really enjoyed about it, is that like it's bright and like it just looks good. It looks nice. It's like eye-catching, and so I'd have to go with My Hero.
Yep. Okay, Yin, looks like you didn't have to vote.
Yay!
You should have, but anyway, art
you
and
can
animation.
if you want.
You don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll get a vote for you next time, maybe.
Alright.
Art and animation goes to My Hero Academia. We take it on in. Chibi, you want to take us into sound and dubbing?
Yeah. Okay, so for sound and dubbing, while Blue Exorcist, like, I didn't hate the dub, I wasn't really crazy about it, even though it had, like, a good score. For My Hero, like, the voices, for the most part, just fit a lot better. Even, like, some of the, like, the minor character voices were good. As far as the music goes, like, I didn't find any of the music, like, really off-putting, so I'm gonna give it to My Hero on this one.
Okay.
I mean, I was surprised that I enjoyed the dub of Blue Exorcist because Bryce Papenbrook's the lead, but yeah, the Christopher Sabat as All Might alone just I kind of feel like me, Al, and Yin are gonna have the same opinion about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, My Hero wins for the dub.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't call other people's votes before they vote, but yeah, I think I'm gonna lean to My Hero on this one. I think back when we were talking about it, I had a little bit of complaints here and there about some stuff that was going on with. I was a meh for Blue Exorcist, and I was a yay for My Hero, so they're gonna take sound and dubbing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't crazy about Blue Exorcist's dubbing, as you might recall. And I don't know, like, I just liked the voices in My Hero more than Blue Exorcist, so yeah. Blue Exorcist, or not Blue Exorcist, BNHA. I started saying B, and then I was like, because I'm just so used to saying BNHA instead of My Hero.
That's why we're saying
My
Hero, so we don't get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go with My Hero Academia too. If only because I really didn't like Rin's voice very much, and I really like All Might's voice. So, yeah, BNHA.
He's such a perfect All Might, isn't he?
He's just a really good All Might.
All Might takes the win, I think, and
Yeah.
So sound and dubbing goes to My Hero Academia, and Envy, you're going to take us into our openings and ending. Our opening and ending man is going to take us into openings and endings.
How fitting.
We're waiting on that video. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I liked the opening song more for My Hero. I liked the ending song of Blue Exorcist more. Visually wise, I think I preferred the slight edge to My Hero for the OP, and I didn't care for the visuals that much for both, but if I had to pick between My Hero and Blue Exorcist, I guess I'd give the edge to My Hero, so I guess My Hero in the mini category for me wins 3-1, so it takes the win for that.
Okay. Yeah, I find myself remembering the My Hero one more. Like, for both the opening and ending. I remember Blue Exorcist's opening. I've had some trouble with the ending, though. So, yeah, simply for... I'm remembering it, like, days after I've seen it and can still kind of get it in my head a little bit. I'm going to go with My Hero on that.
I still have the opening theme, The Day, stuck in my head from earlier, even though I listened to, like, both of the theme songs earlier. Like, I still... Actually, you know what? No, I didn't listen to the My Hero theme earlier. I listened to the Blue Exorcist themes earlier, because I couldn't really remember them, but the My Hero one's been stuck in my head this whole time we've been recording, so I think that speaks for itself that I'm gonna go with My Hero. So
Yeah, I would go with My Hero as well, just because the opening is really memorable. I think the opening of Blue Exorcist is good too, but I think I'd give the edge to My Hero.
Chibi?
My Hero.
So My Hero takes the opening and ending section of this, and I guess I'll take us into final thoughts. Both of these shows I would continue watching. I'm a little torn, because this kind of brings me back to the plot element a little bit, because like, I think both these shows definitely excel, some a little bit more than others in certain areas, like world building and characters, they differentiate a little bit, but this is actually tough. By the slightest bit, I think I might go My Hero. Because... I don't know, I guess I really want to see where the characters are gonna go and what's gonna happen with them. Because I know that we're leading up to something big in the next episode. Well, presumably big. I'm not sure what the next step is for Blue Exorcist. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be as big as like running right into the exam for My Hero. So if I'm having to make a choice, it's going to be My Hero for today. Gav?
So are we deciding on like the one with our final thoughts? Like the one we'd pick.
So like which one do you want to
boy.
which one made you want to continue more?
Well, I know for a fact I'm just more invested in My Hero Academia. And so I'm just gonna like I don't know, like there's probably a reason for that. There's probably a reason why I watched the first like 3 episodes of My Hero, well, more than that, but you know, and was like, oh yeah, like this is really good, and it was something that like I was into for like a long while. Whereas like Blue Exorcist, I couldn't even like, I don't know, I didn't get very far. But I still like it. I would still watch more of both, but I'm probably gonna go with My Hero.
Okay. Yin?
This one's really hard for me because I really like both and I've seen both. So, and I think that's why in general this whole like round and episode is difficult for me. However, I think just based on the first 3 episodes, if I'm setting everything else aside and just my personal feelings aside and everything, I guess I'm gonna go with My Hero. I think, like, overall, taking everything into account, I think I would give that one a slight edge, though, of course, I would continue watching both, and I do like both. But yeah, I'll go with My Hero, I think.
Jibe?
So, I mean, for me, like, this is kind of just, like, I guess if I were to continue, like, either one of them, again, Blue Exorcist would be the one that I would pick, only because, like, objectively, My Hero's pretty good as far as, like, final thoughts are concerned, but on a personal level, like, just considering, like, things in my personal life, I wouldn't continue it. So, yeah, my vote's for Blue Exorcist.
Okay. Envy?
Okay, so with my vote, I'm gonna do a hypothetical situation where both shows are premiering for the first time this year, this season. There's no past history, no past fan expectations, except, you know, for those that read the manga, and no, like, how the shows ended. Like, because I know there's different ways for how the shows ended with their first seasons. Honestly, if both shows were premiering the season and we got to the 3rd episode mark where most people would say, what's your impression? Honestly, Blue Exorcist gave me the bigger impression. So, the better impression. So, by the slightest edge, I would give it to Blue Exorcist.
That is actually surprising.
Yeah.
for you to say, but yeah, but it still ends up 3-2 for a yay for My Hero Academia, and My Hero Academia takes the day, winning with 5 yays to 2 versus Blue Exorcist. So they are going to go on to the 4-6 round up against whatever wins next week. So yeah, does anyone need to gush for a minute?
Not so much gush, but I was doing research on Blue Exorcist just because I was curious, and it literally pulled a Full Metal Alchemist where, like, the second half of the show is an anime original ending.
Right.
And then the second season that came out years later,
They fixed it.
They pretty much said, no, that's not canon. We're following the manga. So, yeah. I was like, I couldn't, like, literally the first 15 episodes fought in the original first season, the first 15 episodes follow the manga, and then episodes 16 to 25 is an anime original ending, and then the second season has 12 episodes, and they pretty much say, yeah, those 9 episodes, that didn't happen. This is what really happened.
And thank God they did that, because I watched the whole season of Blue Exorcist, and once it reached that point, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, the whole series took such a weird turn. But then, and then I read the manga to figure out, okay, is this the same? And it was totally different. And I was like, okay, so they really did just change it. So I am very frustrated by the last half of that season. But I haven't watched the second season, though, so I don't know how good it is, but I'm guessing it's pretty accurate to what happens in the manga. And I do want to watch the second season to see if they fixed it, because the second half of the first season was so weird.
And apparently there was a movie in between the first and second season, too. Like, there was... apparently there was the first season, then Blue Exorcist, the movie, which I imagine is probably like it's like an anime movie where it doesn't count, and then the second season, so...
The movie was pretty cute. I actually liked the movie. At least as far as I can remember. I liked it when I watched it, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. But fuck the second half of that season.
Sounds a bit like what Black Butler did, except Black Butler did it after 4 episodes.
Yeah, they really diverted, and then all the stuff with Eloise was just out of nowhere, but I don't know, I kind of liked it, though. Even though everybody hates Eloise and stuff, I actually liked the second season.
Like, the thing with the second season was, I was super confused watching it. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I was told, no, this doesn't exist. I'm like, what?
Right.
Why is it here?
It was out of
for
nowhere.
Money.
Yeah.
I gotta say, a lot of strong feelings thrown around today.
Sorry.
No, I'm fine with it. That's great. Everybody's got some love and some hate for these shows.
Still watch Blue Exorcist. It is good.
Yeah, this was good.
Just the second half is real questionable, but I'm hoping the second season's good.
I mean, I feel like there's a number of these shows where we're gonna have to just go back and just keep watching a little bit when we're done with this. Or, I mean, if we have a little bit of spare time here and there. But yeah, Blue Exorcist is definitely one of those shows where I wouldn't mind going back and seeing a little bit more. But My Hero takes the win today, and they will go on to face one of the 2 challengers of next week. So we should say what we're going to be watching next week, everybody. Get ready, because this one's a toughie. It's American Dragon Jake Long versus Danny Phantom.
Yes!
You want to talk about some anime.
I mean, that's up there with Cory in the House and King of the Hill, man. That's
Right? Week right after that, it's, what is it? Kim Possible versus My Life as a Teenage Robot. Why not?
Oh, dude, those are underrated. That was an underrated classic there on My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Yeah. No, for real. What we'll actually be watching is actually one that's actually kind of a little bit more of a similar matchup. We're going to be watching Demon Slayer and Yu Yu Hakusho. First 3 episodes of each, same deal, same comeback, same shonen time, same shonen channel. Actually, I don't know about your shonen time. You might be watching this days later after this comes out. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!